Welcome, one and all, to the Free Enterprise channel. This is the third night of the Radical Memers community race. Tonight we have Gwyn, Posomorpheus, Rybon, and Noob Tree 87, and I'm Professor Renderer, once again back on the crew with the one and only Vitasia. How are you doing?
Really looking forward to this. This flag set is one of the flag sets we're using for the community fall tournament this time. So this has really been played a lot. We see a lot of members of the community running a lot of asyncs for this, shaking some rust off. This is a very different flag set than it has been done in other community races and other tournaments. So uh, this whole flag set has been a whole lot of fun to try to play and de-rust and try to solve. And we have four of the best on streams here with those four, in addition to a large contingent of community runners also running it.
Oh yeah, I actually had came back to playing this game, or at least watching it a little bit, thanks in part to the new tournament that's coming up in a little about a week or so, maybe a week or two.
That's right. The Omnidextrous Memers Guild, the OMG tournament. Really, and it's in the title. The Omnidextrous flag does so much to change a lot of how you play the free enterprise flag sets. You're always guaranteed to start with a white mage, either Rosa or Porum, and things go downhill from there.
Oh, as from what I can tell from reading the flags and seeing what's on there, yeah, this is going to be one ride as we get underway here.
Absolutely. And we are getting started right now as our runners. We have a companion edge to get things rolling. A longsword? Okay.
Well, we do have Edge, and I will always stand by Edge as being one of the best early game choices that you can come up with. That when you restrict Cecil in the pool, or Yang too, as we see in this flag set. Um, but I will never say no to an early Edge as your companion, or even as your hero too.
Absolutely. With the Omnidextrous flag on, of course, remember, everyone can equip everything. So, restrictions on terms of, only Cecil can equip the crystal sword and things go right out the window. Edge still maintains its utility, though, for being able to dart and cast sweeping spells right out of the gate. So that longsword and flame whip, you equip those too. He's good to go and can certainly dish out a fair bit of damage right out of the gate. We see some of our other runners, Noob Tree and Posomorpheus, immediately going to clear out the castle Ebland. The trap chests are in their vanilla location, so we know where they're at. We're just going to clear it all out. I do see a heroine robe there that's been picked up. Heroine robe is a fantastic piece of equipment that normally is only restricted to the ladies with less than great weapon options, but again, Omnidextrous, that's just a great piece of gear.
Yep, the Omnidextrous flag, for those not in the know, it allows you to equip anything and any weapon, any armor, whatever, and it can even be dual wielded. It is by far, if you basically, it is get an Excalibur or a Crystal Sword, like double, have them both equipped, and just go to town.
Absolutely. It is worth noting that there's a few different things about it, as Rybon showing us just a Bahamut in that watery pass. Um, a few different things to keep in mind. For example, edge weapons are not really as good as they were in the vanilla game, because with Edge only being able to equip them, he's always dual wielding, so he has to have kind of low attack power weapons to make up for it. Since he can dual wield everything, really, it just Edge weapons become much less capable than they traditionally are. So things like the flame whip are actually better than equipping the longsword, for example. You have to kind of balance those sorts of things out. For example, we know that cane weapons, for example, come equipped with lots of attack power, not so much strength bonuses. Um, Speaking of cane, he is available. Rybon showing us. That's okay. Not only is cane there, but it is also our uh, it is our Fabul Gauntlet uh, on Mount Hobbs as well. So getting a character is that as well. Um, Power Staff is a fantastic weapon because it's plus 10 strength, and that's great for ramping up if you have another weapon that we saw Noob Tree just with there as well. So lots of things going on, lots of weapons, lots of wackiness.
And we like wackiness is whenever one of the wacky challenge flags pop up, anything can happen. And one thing to point out with this early Fabul Gauntlet, that's already an objective right out of the block. With it being this early on, I'm curious how the other objectives will fall into place.
Well,
So,
we do see
go ahead.
Morpheus did just go ahead and say, hey, yeah, we're going to open up these trap chests because one, Edge can sweep with his flame spell. And then between the Gungnir Spear and the Power Staff that it looks like his Edge is equipped with, can bonk his way past the Staleman. So Possum is going ahead and opening these trap chests in Eblin Castle. Very bold move early on.
Yeah, with the with the items being at tier at the with let me try again. The treasure chest being at pro shuffle and at max tier 5, there's going to be a wide variety of different things that can come out of these trap chests. So for that being, it could be going from 6, 7, and 8. So you might not. So it's not as common to find like a crystal sword or Excalibur or whatever, because of the fact that it's max tier 5, meaning that the trap chest will have 6, 7, 8, or a key item.
Garen finding that fight next. Looks like Possum is continuing his way through these trap chests. Again, K-Trap is turned on, so it is a possibility. We did see Possum Morpheus also do something that I really have enjoyed doing. You see that here. In addition to double weapon equips, you can have your healers that you really want to protect double shield up. And that crystal shield, in fact, all crystal armor comes equipped with plus will, which improves white magic casting. So, hey, crystal armor and have double shielding up your white mages not only really helps keep them protected, but also really allows them to ramp up their white magic pretty early as well.
Oh yeah, and this is the beauty of Omnidextrous. You can equip anything, you can protect, you can make sure that your mages will never die. You can have your main attackers just hit like a truck while also being massively protected. It is chaos in every sense of the word.
We did also just see, let's see, another piece of crystal gear from the final trap chest, but Rybon did find the Twin Harp, which again is another objective. It's that objective number 3 to break the Dark Elf spell with the Twin Harp. So that's 2 objectives that are already down here in under 10 minutes to play. We're just rolling here, aren't we?
Oh yeah, we are definitely rolling. So Possum is looking to go into this Eddie check. We did see this a few times from our runners. It didn't yield us anything, but it is something to keep in mind because the no free flag is not turned on.
All right, so we have Rybon checking out the inn, and Morpheus is now checking the trap chest in Tower of Zod. Really interesting here. The other thing with Omnidextrous that I think goes above and beyond what even the previous tournament flag sets, we thought things opened up pretty easily when we had a K-Trap tournament before. We have K-Trap and Omnidextrous. Things are opened up, you still only had 2 or 3 opening places that you can go. Now with Omnidextrous, it's really easy to ramp up your power very, very quickly as Rybon there pulls the Darkness Crystal right away. Whew.
Massive find from Rybon. We'll see early moon access. We also do have Cave Bahamut on the table now, as Morpheus is going to go ahead and start this full gauntlet.
Well, it's King Main and King Moon, so knowing that the Darkness Crystal is that early, oh no, I mean, we could very well be going to the moon very, very early here. Bare minimum to do a character check. The item shop is not so important anymore. The J items are turned off for this particular flag set, so no need to worry about things like sirens, coffins, hourglasses, all of that. Bacchus wines, we're not going to find anything like that up there. So why even bother checking?
To be fair, we have tons of power right from the start just because of Omnidextrous. So having the J items on there isn't really all that necessary. It's just something that's there, but it gets overshadowed by the power of Omnidextrous. So we'll see Gweren getting this check of full gauntlets. It is the Sparkle and it is Ogopogo. Meanwhile, Noob Tree does get his Darkness Crystal from the Baron Inn, or the Baron Tavern. Baron Inn.
Yeah. As Rybon is going back for those trap chests in the meantime. And Possum is working on that Fabul Gauntlet as well. So we have 2 guaranteed key items already down in Twin Harp and the Fabul Gauntlet, and then we have access to a third in doing Cave Bahamut. Still kind of lots to do as well. We have lots of checks that we still haven't made. We still haven't actually completed the Twin Harp. And then when we talk about Moon, we have a few different Moon checks as well. We have, all of the trap chests on the Moon, which we don't want to tackle all of them, I think, quite yet, but certainly are able to at least take a peek at things like hair dryers, things like the last arm check in Tower in the Giant if we want to as well.
And this is kind of what the thing about this flag set is. Everything opens up so quickly, as you mentioned, and with Omnidextrous, it makes it a lot more easier to get to these what seemingly is really difficult checks to get to. Just becomes a lot more simpler with the fact that you can double up on shields, you can double up, you can have armor that would otherwise be limited to one character, etc., etc., and then have really powerful weapons as one of your leads.
All right, we see everyone else seems to be just cleaning up the other spots at this point in time, so we're coming back around to other cleanup locations. Rybon cleaning out Castle Ebland. Possum Morpheus looks like is finishing up Antlion right now going to get his twin harp as well. Noob Tree looks like is on his way to turn that twin harp right away, is following that age-old wisdom. As soon as you get it, if you can, do your objectives.
So, with the mention of the twin harp, Noob Tree is in fact going to go into Cave Magnus. We'll go ahead and get this twin harp taken care of. We'll also get some lovely music from DJ Spoony B, our resident bard DJ.
No, that's true. For those of you who are unfamiliar, and this might be your first or even just a handful of times watching the free enterprise, we have a few different Easter eggs plucked about throughout this. And of course, the harp is one of the main community memes. There are several hundred, I think we've lost track of how many different possible harp songs they are. So as we get going, we will allow DJ Spoony B to mix his fat beats for us. I sounded about as old as I possibly could there, but here we go.
All right, sit back, relax. We're gonna have some music coming up in just a second.
And Dupree does get through that. Had to take a little bit longer with the summoning of Count Brenna there, but does get through. And of course, that was the Mega Man 2 rendition. In the meantime, we have one of our runners, Rybon, opting to go up to the moon. Possum Morpheus is going over to Mount Ordeals, and Garen is going to follow us up. So we're going to have the follow-up to that Mega Man to come up shortly.
Yep. And the reward awaiting for Garen will be a white spear, as revealed by Noob Tree.
Oh, we have a fantastic question here from, and I don't want to mispronounce this, Nitsguy1. Excuse me, commentator, I am new here. How do I win at this game? You know, I'm glad, Nitsguy1, that you are asking that question as a completely new person, and we'll be happy to answer that for you and any other new person out there. We thank you for your question, Nitsguy. There are 7 objectives to complete here. It's listed on them. They're listed out. We kind of have to redo some formatting here, but there are 7 total objectives. Once the runners complete 6 objectives, they will be rewarded with the crystal, which is then used to defeat the end boss of the game, Zeromus. So you must complete 6 of these 7 objectives, and then go off and kill the boss. Obviously, the objectives have varying degrees of difficulty depending on what bosses are there, what equipment we find, what characters we find, etc. I am so happy that you asked that question because, again, Nitsky, who is clearly new and not anyone we've ever seen in the community before, we always love our newbies. Thank you.
Morpheus does get information after completing the mount ordeal that the pink tail is sitting at the top. It's more of a key item. There's no adamants here, so you're just gonna get probably a free check, if anything.
Rybon looks like he showed us that Edward was sitting on the moon. Edward is still not a very good character. I want to emphasize that he, even when he is in the Omnidexter's flag, where he can equip heavy armor and things of that nature, his HP pool is still just so bad. It's so bad.
So for the rest of this, we're going to be seeing him as more of an anchor as opposed to being of anything of value. That's a Masamune.
Like, I mean, remember what I mentioned earlier? Masamune, it's all right. It's got some decent stats on it, but the attack power on it really isn't all that great. I think it's the equivalent to maybe and help me out here, chat, maybe a light sword, maybe at the most. Like, it's really not that strong of a weapon. Just because Edge can equip two of them is what made it so good. So it may not even make it to the final list of equipment that we have for our party.
Right. Ideally, you would want to see the holy swords, Crystal or Excalibur. Ideally.
Martin Broadglobe. Masa's more like an ice brand sometimes. So yeah, Masa's a 65 attack, weaker than most tier 5s. Okay. Thank you so much, Chad. Martin Broadcloak in the community. And Engidave, our restreamer, by the way. Big shout out to those folks behind the scenes. Not only Engidave doing the restreaming, Dubword also for doing all the tracking for us as well. So appreciate everyone on the team behind the scenes helping make these broadcasts come to life.
Without our lovely restream team, we wouldn't be here in the first place. And Dave, now heading up the Tower of Zod's going to pet the Flame Dog. Will receive a Lunar Staff soon. Meanwhile, Morpheus is going to grab the hovercraft.
Yeah, it looks like 3 of our 4 runners have figured out where the hook is. I did not see where we picked the hook up, although 3 out of our 4 runners have it, so it must have been someplace fairly obvious.
Now we have Force Hook enabled on this flag set, meaning that we're going to have to go through the hook route. So that hook is necessary to gain access to the underground.
Absolutely right. And that's one of the reasons why when they built the flags and the objectives, because these are not random objectives, these are static objectives that will be for every single seed. One of them is use the magma key on the well because it is an absolutely worthless item otherwise when we have a forced hook route.
And our tracker Dubward has pointed out that the hook was on the football defense behind Ogopogo.
So Martin Broadcloak does bring about a good question in chat because it is an interesting topic because we do have early darkness key, which means, early darkness, we have the hook, so obviously we're going to be underground, but that early darkness, I believe, does seem to indicate that the magma key could be anywhere on the moon, and that does mean anywhere. Any of the moon objectives or any of the moon trap chests is where it could theoretically be, which is a pretty deep pool in terms of the fill. It can be, according to Martin, it can be gated by the tower key, Luca key on the moon, but it is but it is underground somewhere. Oh, it has to be underground. I hmm I didn't know that.
Yeah, this will be very interesting because, or that is a very interesting point. It, with the fact that we have a lot of things to do in the moon, and Posmorphus is already heading down through the Hook route, along with Noob Tree. They're probably saying that at this point, we're about ready to gear up and get ready to go underground. We'll wait until the Darkness Crystal becomes more of a priority for us, because with the K-Trap being enabled, we do have oh, that's a Fasoya. That is a Fasoya.
Oh, in the final chapter?
We do see this sitting on where Edge usually sits, where Rubicante would, the Rubicante cutscene. So this does change things a little bit here, because now that we have arguably the best mage of the entire game, vanilla-wise. So we'll have this Vesoya on standby, while Bagian is sitting on Rubicante. Now, a question that I am going to pose is that, do we head towards Sylph Cave immediately, or do we want to wait for it?
That's always like I personally try to wait until I have at least the pan to go there. Personally, I know trap chests could theoretically have it, but personally I've never had very good luck with the trap chests there. Um, there was an interesting thing that routing decision that got developed kind of over the course of K-Trap becoming more and more popular over the past year. Is that when you do the Sylph checks, you kind of leave the basement 6 alone for a little bit of time, but you do the Toad Lady check on your way down to Bunk Yanni with the pan. Because it's kind of quick, it's right there, it's easy to route in while it's right there, and then you leave the 6 for some time later.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up because Sylph Cave having a lot of checks just sitting there does bring up a good point. You either, more likely than not, you stick with Feymarch just because it's a lot more, I would say, it's safer. You don't have to step on many damaging tiles down there. That's another thing to point out. The damaging tiles. We haven't seen floats yet, so those become a concern. So in the meantime, Pasta Morpheus is nearing the top here, as Garen is going to go ahead and raise the lunar whale to head up towards the moon, find out where Eddie's at, and Garen will probably maybe check the hair dryers. We'll find that Masamune. Not particularly useful and ambidextrous, but it is a weapon.
We did see Possum end up picking up that Excalibur. I'm thinking that's in the trap chest that Noob Tree is in right now.
so we're now at the of the top of Babel. We see that the first set of bosses is Mega Sisters, which is pretty straightforward, pretty easy, in fact.
Yeah, they tend to go down pretty quickly there. Not only does Quake really do very well, but we also have a Power Staff Excalibur wielding Edge there, which just absolutely wrecks things.
Yep. Yep, that definitely describes the way that this Edge is just shaped up. And we got this Edge as our partner at the very beginning of the game, mind you. The spy game is not bad, I argue. It can be a problem if it becomes a problem, but we have a really angry Edge just going to town. We should be fine.
Well, you see all the equipment that Noob Tree is going on. This is one of the added layers of complexity that Omnidextrous ends up having, the gear shuffle, so to speak, making sure that all of your powerhouses have the best equipment. We see, several black belts being equipped all at the same time, really stacking that plus strength gear as opposed to any sort of semblance of defense.
Yeah, this kind of just shows that you can stack as many strength increasing armor just to even do further damage with your Zerker characters. So if let's say we had an early Cecil that was locked somewhere, then that just with the red equipment, then that Edge will just be, or that Cecil rather, just becomes readily available. I don't think we see the use of Cecil in this seed, given that we had an early Edge. But who knows? Maybe someone will take it. Maybe not. Probably will stick with the Edge.
I was going to say, I think it really at this point comes down to just the only advantage that Cecil had before is that he was the exclusive person who could equip the best gear in the game. I mean, his stat pool, ramp up was pretty good. His HP ramp up was pretty good, but realistically, like, if everyone can equip a Crystal Sword and Excalibur, I'm not too worried about a Cecil.
Yeah, Cecil's only restricted because why not? Why not? If you find him, hey, that's another Zerker on the board. If not, then we're fine as is with an Edge. Hey, here's Antlion. Came down to the moon to say hi. And by that I mean Antlion's way underground.
He dug a tunnel so far underground, he decided to just go all the way to the Dwarf Castle.
Sure. We'll work with that then. Garen is gearing up for this cave Bahamut.
I mean, it's not the worst idea. Depending on what levels you find yourself with and you have good gear, Cave Bahamut does not have a large HP pool. It has some great stats, but it has a lower HP pool than a lot of other places. So if you're confident in your weapons, it's not a bad check here.
No. We do see from Possimoris another Fusoya. That won't be that big of a deal because we do have no dupes enabled. And another thing that I neglected to point out, we have Distinct 7. So, for all we know, Cecil may not be in the scene at all.
Yeah, it's just fine. I'm fine with that personally.
Yeah, me too. I mean, given that anyone could just equip really good weapons. Well, I guess speaking of Cecil, although this is kind of icky, this Dark Knight Cecil.
It's incredibly icky. And oh gosh, if you could swing it to where your Edward can hide, then maybe, but your Edward is only level 5. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, this is. I'll come back later.
Yeah, we're probably gonna wait until we complete this, get more levels on our characters, just so that we can survive the 3 dark waves. Unless Garen's just gonna go for it.
Hey, okay, this is what you got to do sometimes. It's not comfortable, but we'll give it a shot.
This is a bold play by Garen, and I'm curious if this is gonna work. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, but hey, who knows? We'll see what happens.
He's got the hide queued up, and he gets hide off.
Ooh, okay. Now just gotta wait. And there it is.
There it goes. Doesn't even swing because there's nothing to swing at.
Well played by Garen. That is another objective on the board.
Okay, well done. Just a ribbon. That is an objective, though, as you mentioned. Meanwhile, Poss, Morpheus, and Noobtree are climbing the tower, lower tower of Babel. They do find the pan. They did also end up finding the spoon.
Interesting. We don't have spoon turned on the flags.
Yeah, but it's omnidextrous. Everyone can equip everything.
True. So that means you could equip a spoon and just deal tons and just deal damage like that.
I mean, we have people equipping ninja stars at this point in time, throw only objects. So absolutely, the spoon is equipable by everyone. And I do believe I saw Noobtree throw, and Possum has it on his cane right now that says, yep, thank you.
Oh boy, this is going to be really interesting. This cane that Possum Morpheus has with Power Staff and this spoon loaded up with Strength Rings. We have another Zerker on our hands, on top of the edge that we got at the very start of the game. Meanwhile, right button does make it underground. And for now, Garen is the only one who has yet to go underground, but has chosen to make a play for Cave Bahamut, finds Dark Knight Cecil, gets the hide that is necessary to bypass the 3 dark waves, and just gets an objective right there. Now it's the perfect time to go underground.
See, I think the issue, unfortunately, for Garen, that was a great play, and he's the first one with that particular objective done. The issue, I think, that we're going to run into is that he had to spend a lot of time setting up and getting that just ready, and it didn't lead to another objective. It just led to a ribbon, right? So he has great experience right now, but it's not going to let him accelerate through the rest of the seed a little bit, like everyone else is doing right now. It didn't lead to anything. If it had led to something, it would have been kind of lights out Garen in the lead. which is a fantastic play. Unfortunately, just didn't pan out that way.
Yeah, that is something to keep in mind. Though Garen, so we'll see what happens with when it comes time for the remaining 3 runners to head up towards the moon to do that cave Bahamut. Meanwhile, Raibon is about to finish up with this warrior chest. Ninja hat. Nothing too special.
Unfortunately, not. Just another Drayton Spear there. And here's the Raibon is highlighting an interesting thing because K Summon isn't turned on, and we've already defeated the Bull Gauntlet. We don't particularly care what bosses are under there. We're not going to check.
Yeah, it's one of the something that if you're used to the typical lineup of K main summon moon, that might throw you up if you're not reading the flags closely. That we do have K main and moon, but in its place of summon we have trap. Also,
and here Raibon, look, Raibon's making a beeline for those trap chests in the basement of Self right now.
Yeah, this is a play. I'm curious if this will pay off. Newtree does take a look at the job dwarf. It is a civil engineering technician. So Raibon is going to go ahead and collect what is underneath in the basement here of the Self Cave. Quake does come in handy for this. Some arty arrows.
Well, it looks like he is set right now. He's set up has an RA1 setup where Fusoya is going to be able to set up and cast Quake before anyone else gets anything off right now. This is a very basic setup and one of the key ways to get through Self Cave very quickly. A little bit easier to set up with Omnidextrous because you have a bunch of minus agility gear that you can throw on whoever your middle slot is.
Correct. Which does bypass the need for bypasses the need for cursed reins, as cursed reins are turned off. But since we have Omnidextrous, it doesn't really matter. We could just throw a bunch of these negative weapon or negative armors and stuff on them, and we'd be fine. We do find the pass, and we did also see the tower key from Raibon the previous check. Meanwhile, Pastor Murphy is about to head into Self Cave. Potentially going to be heading down for those 6 debasement checks.
Oh, there's a crystal sword there in one of the checks that Raibon just did. So these trap chests are really gearing out us with some of the best equipment in the game right now.
And this is what I mean. Omnidextrous, you get another crystal sword, that's game. That's game right there. You have a perfect lineup. We do find Admin Rock. And so of note, while we don't have the we do have the Legend Sword quest or objective on. Okay, never mind. Of note that we have Super Smith enabled, so that means when we go to forge a weapon from Kokal, we are given one weapon from Final Fantasy IV Advance. One of the post-game weapons, specifically.
Yeah, and again, normally, you try to match the weapon with the character in hopes that you have things. Uh, Omnidextrous again makes that kind of moot. So any weapon we have, yeah, we'll take, and it will be fantastic.
Oh, for sure. Although this mobile is giving a little bit of difficulty because we did have Bad Breath come out on both Kane and Fusoya, but we managed to clear it out. We do have a Bahamut summon, which is funny because we really don't need it. It is money and that's it.
Rybon then going to do the tower check now. He has the tower key, so he's going to be able to do all of the tower in one foul swoop. Meanwhile, Noob Tree and Possum Morpheus will both be able to do everything in the Sylph Cave in one trip if they want to, as opposed to Rybon, who's going to have to come back because, again, didn't do the Sheila or any other checks, but the pan is located in here as well.
Yeah, and that's kind of unfortunate for Rybon because that means that Rybon would have to go and do one additional dive into Sylph Cave just to clear the pan. So Possum Morpheus will be is already on the second half of the 6th basement trap chest in the Sylph Cave. This will receive a crystal sword here on this 4th check. And Possum Morpheus, looks like the combination here that we're seeing is that I believe it's either Kane or Edge. It's Edge. Edge is running with Adventure Sword plus Crystal Sword, which that's actually a pretty good combination because you're already zerked up. You don't have to worry about having to do the Avenger glitch to get the boosted stats of the Crystal Sword because you already have your other hands.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've got so much gear that the spoon, which is the highest attack power weapon in the entire game, is just kind of sitting in this inventory right now. So this party is decked out to the nines, which is what happens even in only tier 5 loot that's available. You end up getting enough stuff that your party is looking pretty blinged out by the end.
Yeah, at that point in time, when you go to fight Zeromus, you're playing as if this was Supermarket Sweep, and that you're so kitted out that Zeromus becomes just becomes ridiculously easy. Now, I don't know if that's a good analogy to describe it, but that's kind of the first thing I think of when it comes to this particular combination and the wacky challenge of Omnidextrous. Also, go ahead.
I was going to say, in the meantime, Rybon ends up finding our resident comedian Golbez in the lower tower, about to fire a cannon. Of course, we're going to stop him, but we thought we were going to get out of this one pretty quick. Unfortunately, no.
Golbez having to come in and just delay the completion of the super cannon fights just by a lot, because you have to deal with the cutscene and then have to deal with fighting this, but then you do fight this and you do stop Golbez right as he's trying to heal you, heal your party back up to health. Well, back up to status, removing all statuses. so you don't have to deal with an additional phase and going into the additional boss track. Over on Noob Tree's side, we are seeing the Giant. This will be for last arm.
This is a bit of a longer check, but it's out of the way, and it's a popular check because you can kind of easily reset out of it if nothing ends up being here. A lot of people really like this check because you can get a lot of value out of it, you know.
You definitely can. So we'll see what this last arm chest yields for Noob Tree. It is an Excalibur. We don't really need it, so we are going to reset out of it. Also, Marcus takes down Golbez.
Worth remembering that forge, or that lower tower with the Golbez in it, is one of our objectives. So, with that said, we are looking for, at this point, an Adamant Rock, an Earth Crystal for the Treasury, or a Magma Key. Of those three, we need 2. And that's it.
Yeah, Go ahead.
And according to the logic with Forced Hook, nowhere on the moon can hold the Magma Key, so it's got to be somewhere. I think the way it's risen out is Sheila has the Rat Tail, has Luca Key, has to have the Magma Key? Is that how? Tower or Luca? Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna find out right now as Postmarpes is gonna take a look at what this Tower Key yields after completion of the Super Cannon. And if it's not this, then we are heading down to Sealed Cave. Postmarpes does not yet have the Luca Key, however. Only Noob Tree has it. There is our Magma Key sitting on the Tower Key. So, one thing left to do is to drop it into the well. Which we can just do right here because we're just sitting right here in just getting this well done.
Yeah, that means we're looking for either the Earth Crystal or the Legend Sword. First one that we find, and we are effectively done with this seed at this point in time. At 50 minutes, we have all the equipment that we could possibly have. Might need a couple levels here and there. I see lots of, we have the gear absolutely to be able to deal with Zero Miss, and we have the party. It's just a matter of maybe getting a few more levels at this point.
So for now, Possum Morpheus is going to turn in the 2 Sheila checks. In hunts for either the Legend Sword or the Earth Crystal. Noob Tree.
And,
go ahead.
Yeah, you were meant saying Noob Tree is up on the moon. Chat is discussing what do you do? It feels like you got to check Luca, and I absolutely agree. Luca Cave, I think, is something you do have to check if you are in Possum Morpheus' shoes right now, especially if you have the pass. You're hoping to hit a home run here.
Yeah, and if you're in Noob Tree's situation here, you're hoping to find something of value here on the on the moon that could lead to another objective on the board, and somewhere out of the way of some of the forerunners that we're seeing on the screen. Possum Morpheus may have a better shot if he were to chase the Luca key down. But it looks like Pasta Morpheus wants to do the Magnus check. Okay.
Yeah, he still has some other checks to do, like the Twin Heart, which frankly I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't done already. But they should be relatively quick checks here.
Yeah, and if you really want it, you don't have to fight it, but you don't have to fight the Dark Elf here. All you have to do is just break the Dark Elf spell. But you're better off just checking it anyway because it is K-Mang.
You're locked in the room after that.
You are locked in the room. Never mind.
Yeah, you are locked in the room. You have to complete it.
See, I thought you could walk out of it as soon as you do it. I guess not.
Yeah, I wish you could, but you're actually locked in the room, so you can't leave.
Good to know. I am a little rusty. Just putting the disclaimer out.
I mean, yes, Judge Joe is right. In push B to jump, yes, you can leave, but no.
Yeah, we don't even have push B to jump. As much as push B to jump is a fun flag to put on, we don't even have it on here. In the meantime, we'll see what Nutri finds here on this pale dim spot. And let's hope this and again, Nutri's hoping to find something of value here. Meanwhile, Raibon will drop the Magma Key into the well. That will trigger another objective on the board. And over on Nutri's side, we do have Dr. Luge just bickering with his mech robot thing that's considered a machine. And you can use Thunderclaws on it to deal more damage. Yes, I do know this because I was in Pasta Morpheus' stream when he mentions it. When he mentioned exactly
that. Meanwhile, Raibon is going to be the first one to go down and check Luca Cave to see if that is indeed going to be our jackpot here. Meanwhile, Nutri making quick work of Dr. Luge.
Entering phase 2 of the Luge fight, aka the real fight. So, if Raibon does spike either the Earth Crystal or the Legend Sword, this might be kind of bad because if Pasta Morpheus does go down there immediately, then that means he's basically Pasta Morpheus will be sitting in go mode, gonna grind on some levels, yes, but at this point, I don't know. Well, okay, so we have a Baron.
Oh, Noob finds it. Noob finds it.
Oh, so this is interesting. Pasta Morpheus was considering going, was in the Basidia. I don't recall if he had already raised the Lunar Whale yet. So, but this is interesting because now, with Nutri having the Earth Crystal, all Nutri really has to do is to get the Tower Key, and then get the Magma Key, and that's just go mode.
Right, and if he knows the logic specifically that Forced Hook with an early darkness crystal means that the magma key cannot be anywhere on the moon. It must be through the underground logic. So at this point, I mean, he should know logically that he's in go mode. He just has to do a few more things. Lukaki is bearing, which could lead to the Legend Sword. Rybon is on his way out and probably going to be turning that Baron key in.
Yeah, I think if this is the Legend Sword, then at least you don't have to worry that much. Although Postomorpheus is going to go ahead and raise the Lunar Whale. Noobtree is also going to be fighting Dark Knight Cecil and looking to do run buffering to try and get to try and keep the party alive through the first Dark Wave. Although that looked like to be a miss from Noobtree trying to heal the party up in an attempt to get the party going. Although I guess he has a cure for cured up, but he chooses to reset out of it. I believe that first miss might have been enough for Noobtree to say, "Yeah, I don't think we're surviving this."
All right, this is interesting. Both Possum and Rybon were kind of in a split decision with what they were going to do. Rybon opted to chase the Baron key. Possum is going to run up the moon. Ooh, this is... Baron is a deep check. It's just if you're committed to it or not. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, although the one thing to keep in mind here is that Postomorpheus has yet to do anything on the moon. He just raised the Lunar Whale. So, if Rybon does manage to spike the Legend Sword here, then Rybon, I argue, is in the lead.
If he does, yes. I mean, it's kind of a small percentage chance, but that's what Rando's all about, right? It's always going to be about those small percentage chances.
Yeah, what might be a small percentage chance could end up being the right answer and catapults you to the lead. It's those small decisions that you have to make as a rando player, weighing the options and saying, is this good enough to be faster, be ahead of my opponents, and why? If I'm fast this and it pays off, then I'm for sure ahead. We do see Baron guards here on the throne room, which those are well-established guards, I would say. And they go down really quickly. And there's Fusoya number 3, but that's which is kind of funny when you all things considered. Postomorpheus is heading into the Giant of Babel. We'll see what this last arm is about. We know that has an Excalibur there. Alright, moment of truth here for Rybon. Does this lead to the Legend Sword?
Big question here. No.
No, it doesn't. Ooh. So that one play that this was a good play. It just ended up being the wrong play. I mean, we won't say no to a Zeus Gauntlet, but still. In the meantime, we're gonna see Postomorpheus heading into the LST. We will Postomorpheus will see that Eddie is gonna be sitting on the lunar throne. And Raibon also making the dive down to the Giant of Babel. So Possum Morpheus, this should be a save here in getting geared up for this fight. Although, okay, yeah, we're going to double Drain Spirit to act as the anchor. And yeah, we're going down. We are going down the LST. If Possum Morpheus chooses to go from top to bottom, this will lead Possum Morpheus into go mode.
So we know that he is just looking for Earth Crystal or Legend Sword, correct?
Yeah, it's only the Earth Crystal or the Legend Sword. And we know the Earth Crystal, we know that the Earth Crystal's here, so Possum Morpheus is on the right track.
And it doesn't make sense to do the Cave Bahamut at this point in time, because Cave Bahamut is a summon location which will not give us a key item in this regard. I'm talking my way through it as much as anyone else.
The only thing that it does lead to is an objective.
Right, but if you're still not in go mode yet, you're not going to, like, completing something that will absolutely cannot lead to another key item, you're still looking for go mode.
Correct. But Possum Morpheus is on the right track. This Earth Crystal did come out of the Pale Dim spot, as seen by Noob Tree. So all Possum Morpheus has to do is deal with Dr. Luge's bickering with Balnob and having to fight his real fight, and we're done. Possum Morpheus is in go mode. We are going to see Balnob Z coming up here for Possum Morpheus having to not be able to take out Dr. Luge in time. So now Dr. Luge is going to be controlling him directly for exactly one ATB tick. And phase 2 will be equally as fast. And there goes Dr. Luge for Possum Morpheus. This will lead to the Earth Crystal and subsequently go mode at 105.45.
Meanwhile, Nutri is opening up the Luca Cave. Does not yet have the tower key. Those are in Sylph traps, aren't they?
The Luca key or the Baron key?
The tower key.
Tower key, yeah. That was in the basement of Sylph Cave, yeah. So Garen needs to be heading down to this to the Sylph Cave basement in order to get that tower key. And the same thing applies to Noob Tree. It was just closing in on that was just closing in soon, is because he does have the Earth Crystal, being the first one to get it from the moon on Pale Dim.
Meanwhile, Rybon's also doing cleanup Mount Ordeals here. Completely forgot that he had, faded this one.
Yeah, you could easily fade this check in particular if the stage decides that, yeah, we're not. You can probably not get away with not going here, and what we know is that it's not going to lead to anything. Pasta
Meanwhile,
Morpheus. Go ahead.
I was gonna say Pasta Morpheus in go mode now. Popping over here to Cave Baron or Cave Value has that Avenger equipped, so unfortunately will not have the auto completed dungeon. So we'll have to, exit out and unequip that.
Yeah, it's a small readjustment that does cost time. Because if you already have the Avenger Sword equipped and you forget that you're fighting Dark Knight Cecil, you're gonna have to be taking a reset or just deal with the amount of HP that Dark Knight Cecil has, with it being on Cave Bahamut. So Possible is going to do a retry of this fight now with the Adventure Sword unequipped. And this time, these Cure 4s will be coming out here without any issue coming from Edge after getting a little too angry at Cecil. And this third wave should do it. Yep, justice is not the only right in this world. Someday you will see.
Noob does find the adamant rock, but I believe Magma Key is coming up here directly. Wait, it's not Magma Key, it is Tower Key then. Okay. So that's the Tower Key that's going to lead to the Magma Key.
Yeah, and subsequently you have to deal with a Golbez that does slow down the completion of the super cannon, which then leads to the Magma Key, which that's
the chain is just unheard of.
It's not a good chain because of the fact that Golbez is sitting on a super cannon, which wastes time. And Possum Morpheus is going to go ahead and land the Lunar Whale at Troya. He's going to go ahead and open up this treasury, which will result in getting the crystal in just a second. And here comes the crystal.
Worth noting, of course, Possum Morpheus is now the first one on stream with the crystal. Does have the pass, so we're gonna be in our Z fight very, very quickly. Also, worth noting, no other community members have finished the race yet, so we might have one of our first finishers here if we can get everything sorted out. Looks like we have the decent levels.
We should have the levels here, and I've already seen them coming through in the chat right now, those Z flags. So I'm going to give the spiel here. Now, as much as we like to shuffle all the bosses around, the only exception that you may have noticed is that Zeromus has not been shuffled around. And that's because if we did, then we would have to deal with a really, really heavy hitting boss on a really bad spot, and we don't want to do that. So instead, we end up shuffling the appearance of Zeromus, and with that, we like to ask a very, very important question, followed up by several other questions. But the big question is, whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
Of course, all the follow-up questions like, is the butt cute? Does the butt have a hat? Can the butt do my taxes? And so on and so forth.
Can it help me with my 401k? Is it Turing complete? Is it sus? I don't. Or is it an imposter? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. So little time. Cross them over, sorry, throw the crystal. Who are we going to kick tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and every other gender? Oh, that is
Ultimecia, yeah.
Ultimecia, yeah, from
I think that's 8. Yeah, Final Fantasy 8.
Yeah, 8. I recognize. I know the. I recognize the silhouette a little bit. I just can't pinpoint which game though.
The thing about this fight setup is we have a couple of Zerkers that are doing in excess of 5,000 damage every swing. This is going to go incredibly fast. And that's the joy of Omnidextrous. By the end of it, we're kind of geared.
And this is what I mean. This is why I said that this by the time we get to Zeromas, it's at the level of Supermarket Sweep. You're already super powerful as it is, and nothing can stop you at this point. You are effective, and once you get the party going, and you're starting to everything's all zerked up, it's just control down. In the case of Hot Morpheus, you just messing with the menu in time with the music.
Unless you get a party who doesn't know how to handle meteors properly. Oh wait, that's Zero Miss Yes. Sorry, wrong game.
But yeah, we had video phase, and down goes Zeromas. GG's out to Pasta Morpheus.
Yeah, Possum is the first one done on Restream and first one done in the community race with the first place time of 1:14.58. GG's to Possum. We'll see if he's available for a quick chat here.
Very well played from Possum Morpheus, just showing how fun this flag set is. And I still can't wait to play this flag set.
It's a whole lot of fun. It is very different from playing any other free enterprise seeds for anyone who's done anything else. If you've done it, as far back as Adamant Cup, ZZ5, all the different tournaments and flag sets we have, Omnidextrous does make for a very, very different experience. So you can't run the seed the same way, but that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fresh.
While we wait for Possum Morpheus to join us, Noobtree has now obtained the crystal, and the ringing in my ears here is that Possum Morpheus has now joined us in the booth. GG's and congratulations on winning the community race.
GG's. Thank you, Science Bear. I'm very happy to have you back in the booth. GG's to everyone.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So walk us through, Omnidextrous has put a new twist on free enterprise with the community flags and of course the tournament that's coming up. What's your feeling so far on going through the playtesting and playing these flag sets and kind of dusting up for this this community tournament coming up?
It's fun. I mean, it adds a whole lot of dynamic properties to each character where yes, like your Edwards of the world are still generally bad, but white mages are arguably more important than ever. Characters like Sid really shine. Kane is wonderful. If you could construct a party of Porum, Sid, Kane, and an anchor, you're golden for almost the entire game. You can throw in a DKC as your sweeper if you want. It just adds so much in the way of versatility of characters and what they can do when given appropriate gear to really kind of level the playing field. So it's very fun to kind of fool about with what each character's potential is when given the right tools.
Absolutely. You were showing off the versatility there through all of it. We had uh, Edward, who, still did his best anchor impression, which perfectly fine when you get him that late. That's kind of whoever shows up late ends up being that anchor role, it feels like. How about the scene in terms of how it led you on? Do your objectives certainly is something that you have to do. You did have a very, very early play into Castle Eblin that we don't always see, but that I think lent itself because Edge is Edge, and you had awesome gear.
Yeah, the heroine robe meant I could be RA1 versus Staleman Skull Chest, which meant I couldn't get put to sleep. Edge versus Rosa's agility, and so I threw on like an Aegis shield and a crystal shield on Rosa, trying to keep her alive as well, which ultimately did work. But that was just a byproduct of the fact that the heroine robe is really overpowered, and it makes it so that I can get through the most difficult of the 3 chests. Then with the weaponry that we found in a heroine robe, the Black Cat Lamia chest is free, and then you kind of figure out the ogre chest. You have enough resources by that point going through all of Eblin. So I made a very early Eblin play, earlier than I usually do, but we were provided the tools to do it. So I kind of focused on Eblin, then the Flame Dog, then some overworld circuit stuff. I didn't bother with the moon, which I don't know if it would have been beneficial or not to have that Edward. I got bailed out pretty dramatically by the Feymarch Fruity being a Drain Spear. I was looking at a 12 agility Rosa at that point, which would have meant I needed 31 agility on Fu, which wasn't going to happen. So I didn't have a Sylph answer, and Sylph was relatively loaded this seed. Traps in general were very loaded this seed. So the Feymarch Freebie really dictated a lot of that, because I don't think I'm doing anything in Sylph but the Toad Lady if that Drain Spear doesn't show up. So it was really interesting how things kind of pointed different directions. Like, I did Dwarf when I got underground because I wanted an anchor. Just a lot of things kind of fell into place, which was nice, worked with my playstyle. Even the moon going top down worked out to hit the Earth Crystal. And I saw the Legend Sword was in the Ribbon Room as well, so that would have been my next stop after the Red Giant chest. So I was going to get Go Mode relatively quickly there. It all just kind of lined up for my playstyle on these. I wish I wouldn't have wiped the DKC, that was silly, but, what are you going to do? Avengers are great until you leave them on against that boss.
Yeah, that's one of the thing that... I mean, if anything, it was a simple recovery. It only wasted like a few seconds of anything.
Yeah, I mean, didn't want to spend the time wasting it there, and made some choices throughout the seed that worked out. I'm glad that Baron didn't have Go Mode, or I'd have felt real foolish. I just hate doing the Baron check. Also, holy cow, GG Saribon and Noob Tree, that was really close, looking at the race room.
Oh,
Yeah, they're both crumbling on screen right now.
Well played to both. GG's to both.
Well, I suppose with that being said, I should make my way out so those fine gentlemen can join y'all in the booth.
Well, we appreciate you, Possum Morpheus. Thank you so much for joining, and GG's once again.
Yeah, thank y'all. Of course, Professor Render and Vitasia for doing comms. Always a blast. I'll look forward to watching this one back. Dave for doing the restream, and Dub for doing tracking. Yeah, thank y'all, and everyone have a great night.
Take it easy. Alright, while we are waiting for, we're waiting for Rybon and, So, I got word that Rybon won't be joining us here, but, maybe Noobtree will, join us in, but while we're waiting for Noobtree to come in, give, as Possible Purpose mentioned, give the Restream team a follow as long as our featured runners. We we put on an absolutely incredible show for everyone, and these runners are also very incredible. So in the meantime, Garen is on the hunt for this tower key. Um, maybe in considering uh going for the legend sword as the finish.
Would not put it past him, because at this point in time, the Legend Sword is going to be easier. We know that the Legend Sword is in the Ribbon Room, also getting plenty of levels through opening up all of these trap chests.
Yeah, and this is a good way. This will have Garen on an alternate finish compared to everyone else, which is fine. However you choose to carve your way through the seed, that's how you go about it. So yeah, this was honestly a lot of fun. I might actually roll one soon, soonish. Depends on how I realize the situations here, and the reading into my ears also sees that Duke Tree has joined us in the booth. GG's.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah. So walk us through what your overall thoughts are about the flag set and how the seed went.
So the flag set itself, it's something that's obviously it's kind of a meme. But I will say, as someone who's played more traditional flag sets more often in practice, it's definitely one of those that was starting to get to me as far as routing went. So I've poked some brains, specifically John Burkhead today, about different routing styles, because typically you want to do that clockwise motion over on the overworld, but you have so many trap chests to look at now, and now with Omnidextrous, literally anyone can be a powerhouse. So first things first, you got to check Ebling. Since you know where those trap chests are, avoid them. Get those other chests. See if you get an Atrobe or some Power Staff, Rune Axe, anything you can find somewhere to power up your team and then get moving. But as far as how this seed went, it was basically one of those where I felt a little lost at first, but as soon as I found the hook, I was like, okay, this is nice. Football, give me something nice this time. And I didn't have to dip into ordeals like I was afraid of doing. But after that, it just felt like everything was popping up where I was going.
Yeah, did certainly had some fantastic routing there. The final piece of the puzzle ended up being there in Sylph Cave, which you put off, I think, a little bit longer than some of the other runners did. Conversely, you ended up doing the moon checks a little bit earlier than everyone else. What goes into the decision-making process on your end as to when to go to the moon and when to opt to stay on the blue planet?
Well, Sylph Cave has bitten me quite a bit. So I typically save that for later if I can. And I also know one of our objectives is to drop the magma key so we can get underground. And I'm aware of when Force Hook is on, the magma key is going to be underground somewhere. So leaving Sylph Cave there with Dwarf Castle, I felt comfortable going to the moon and doing those first 3 checks that I do in the LST, those 2 monster chests and Murasame, just to see if I get that Earth Crystal, which did pay out this time. And then I was like, okay, after that, I like to route straight to Cave Bahamut, see what's there. Unfortunately, today it was a little bit scarier than normal, but we got through it. And then I forgot to switch my battle speed multiple times and take off the Avenger. So, but yeah, my thought process is always, if I haven't found the Magma Key yet, and that's one of the objectives I know I can get, I'll leave Sylph Cave for the end, because especially with Fu there, I can just RA1 Quake on slot 2 and get through all those chests super quick.
I don't anything else to comment on? Do you anything else?
For me, as far as it goes, like I just this meme flag set. I don't know if you noticed. I decided to make a pit stop so we could see the most important meme of all to see who our employment dwarf was. And I don't remember exactly what it was because I got a little hype there. But I think this is it's a skillful flag set that people can enjoy, like low skill floor, high skill ceiling. But it's also a lot of fun. You get to see things you don't normally do, like dropping that magma key into the well after you've been underground and see, whoop, that's gone. Doing cave value when there's really no reason to go if you've already found the football gauntlet. And just everyone who worked on this, I want to give you a shout out. Because all of you made this super fun, and I'm looking forward to the tournament. See how brackets go and see how the drafting goes. Drafting is something I've not been a part of, and I'm super excited for it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this tournament as well, as someone who's participating in it.
Yeah. Other than that, do you have anything else for me? Any other questions for me?
I think you hit everything that I wanted to comment on.
All right. Well, and in that case, I do want to say, Vitasia, Professor Render, thank you so much for your comms tonight. It's been a fantastic seed, and I can't wait to hear the comms that you put on it. Put on a good show for us. NG Dave, thanks for rolling the seed. You said you could only do jets, and look what turned out to be. Pretty jetty for the most part. And Dubber, thanks for pushing those buttons for us over there, okay? Otherwise, I want to say thank you all once again. Y'all stay beautiful, stay safe, and we'll catch y'all again later.
Take it easy.
And GG's. Alright, and with that, looks like Garen does find the Legend Sword. So I believe... let's see. So he will not do the tower key, which means that's the only one?
It should be the only one.
Oh, he doesn't have the magma key either.
Oh, right. Yeah, magma key. Oh, that was on... Oh, right, because that's on the tower key.
Yeah, so Garen has a bit to go. He has completely dodged Silk Traps, and I think that's really the key at this point in time. So he has no Adamant, no Magma, no Tower Key. All those, we know that this was a particularly loaded Silk Trap cave. So this is unfortunately not going to work out for Garen. It's one of those things that in randomizers, you make a gamble to fade some things, or you emphasize or prioritize other places. And this is one of those instances where, avoiding Sylph Cave was going to be to your detriment. That's not always the case. Avoiding Sylph Cave, few more rolls that went a different way, Garen would have been in first place, as opposed to last on the restream. And that's just how it happens with Rando.
Yeah, these decisions, it's decisions it's this decision that decisions like in randomizers in general have some value attached to or like risk involved, and if the decisions to leave it out does mean that you're probably off pace, and it ends up being the right spot, then you don't feel particularly good about it. I don't know how best to put it, but yeah, it can be kind of not the best feeling once you find out about it.
No, and Karen's been around the block, I think, enough to know the difference, right? Like I think everyone in this community has gotten to the point where we've run seeds where we make a similar decision and it either blows up in our face or it pans out spectacularly and we feel fantastic. Everyone has made similar plays and we know that feeling, and it's just a matter of, you know, shaking it off, because the next seed, you know, it could end up working in your favor. So you just have to keep playing the numbers.
Correct. So for now, Garen is heading down back to the blue planet. Now in position to, I'm guessing maybe doing the forge first of all. Or no, he doesn't even have the adamant rock. Never mind. I take that back. Still have to find that in Self Cave. So Garen was going to go down underground, but does remember about the earth crystal, so it's going to turn that in really quick.
Oh boy. So I think here's the thing. He's going to turn, okay, he's going to turn that in, open it. Not sure if he's going to actually open up the treasure chest, because we are pretty decked to the nines right at the moment.
Yeah, and yeah, we're not going to see the treasury here because that's the only reason why you are here in the first place, is just to turn in the treasury the treasury objective. And we are going to see Zot. So this will mean another check, but as we see here, as we know, the Adamant Rock and the Magma and the Tower Key, which leads to Magma Key, they're all sitting in Self Cave, in the basement. So this check is only going to lose time, and that's it.
And here's what I would say the worst part of it all. The Magma Key, which is the shortest completion of all of them, is buried behind the Tower Key, which I think is going to be the longest out of all of them. So what's likely going to happen is we're going to do the Sylph, we're going to find the Adamant Rock. He's going to be like, hey, one more from Go Mode. He'll find the Tower Key. He might continue to open up the rest of the checks, hoping to spike the Magma Key. Unfortunately, it's going to be the last check, and the Magma Key is going to be what ends up not getting done here. Just just knowing the logic of it.
And time-wise, I would say the forge will probably be better off, because you have to not only climb up Babbo, but you also have to wait out Golbez's comedy routine in order to then go down and go back down Lower Babel to then get the Magma Key. So by all accounts, it's better to do the adamant through the forge instead of going down and dropping the Magma Key into the well.
Of course, a reminder to everyone who's watching this, this is a preview of the flag set coming up for the Community Fall Tournament going on with Free Enterprise, the OMG Tournament. If you'd like to join up yourself, or maybe you'd like to volunteer to help us run the tournament, join us over on our Discord. We would love to have more people end up signing up to run these community flag sets, or just take part and have fun with us as a member of the community. We would love to see you over on the Discord. Frankly speaking, one of the most welcoming communities that exists out there on the internet. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We have plenty of veterans and sages ready and willing to help you out with your questions. Just a cat claw for Garen. But we'd love to have you. So let's see you over on the Discord if you can.
We'd love to have you here. All right, with the completion of Zot's done, it looks like now it's the time to go down to Silk Cave, and head down into that basement where we find the adamant rock and the tower key, which then leads to the big time sink that leads to the magma key being turned in. I think if I was Garen in this situation, I would have just bailed right after seeing the adamant rock. That is my go mode, so that means I don't care about the remaining checks.
But it's not, because we still have, we have 3 objectives that Garen still has to do. Magma Key, Forge, and do Lower Babel as well.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so even then you have to clear everything. Never mind.
Yeah, unfortunate.
So Garen now in position to clear out the basement. This will lead to go mode.
Yeah, he has a good Edward setup. There is adamant, so he will trade that out.
It's gonna have to do a little bit of inventory boss shenanigans to deal to get some inventory space in.
The other thing I'd probably recommend if I were Garen is to put Fu in that RA1 slot where Edge is at, so he can get Quakes off faster.
There's Garen's crystal sword, and he's just gonna bail. So this will be a turn in of the forge. We will at least see what the supersmith has. And once again, just to reiterate, the supersmith will only yield 1 Final Fantasy IV advanced weapon, and only 1, because there's only enough space in the code for 1 of the weapons. It's a Tiger Claw.
Tiger Claw, that's interesting, and not one that wait, huh?
That was the 6th objective.
Oh,
right.
It's just beat the boss of Lower Babel. It's not do the cannon. Okay.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay. Oh, that's okay.
Okay. At least we got
Yeah.
the confusion cleared out.
Lower Babel, I thought that was do the cannon room in Lower Babel, because I'm used to it being a gated objective is what we're doing. Unfortunately, one of those other trap chests was the pass, so
we have no other choice but to run down the LST.
not even going to equip the crystal sword either, from the looks of it.
I feel like at this point, I think we're already well equipped. So the crystal sword is probably just more of a prize than anything else. I mean, you still, it would be nice to equip it just to have more damage coming into play. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna be equipping it unless we're equipping it as we're about to head down into the deeper the crystal area of the LST.
So as the walk continues on, do want to give one last final shout out to all of the folks behind the scenes who helped make this broadcast possible, and Dave with the restream, and of course Dubword with the tracking, and all the other members of the restream team putting together these weekly restreams. And as we're ramping up for the community race, of course, if you'd like to help us out behind the scenes, we are looking for additional volunteers to help us out. So if you've ever thought about it, now's the chance. We'd love to have you.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start equipping. We're getting some stuff equipped onto Edge. So much up gets deployed onto Fusoya. And Garen will still equipping stuff, just getting ready for this. And Groza's going to go on the attack here, loading it up with black belts and a crystal ring for good measure.
The more the merrier.
Yep. We are going to be seeing a lot of zerking going on, with Rosa being at the leading the charge, and because I guess Edge leading the charge and Rosa just acting as backup as like a battle light mage.
I mean, Crystal Sword needs never having to say you're sorry, and I think we have 3 of them at this point in time. So it's Zerk up everyone and let it fly.
Yeah, and we honestly are we honestly just don't need to just worry a whole lot. We're as soon as we're all zerked up, it's just control it down. Last room, and now we are at Zero Mist floor. We'll have one more fight. We'll have one more Zero Mist fight before we wrap up this this race.
Party is set. We're ready to let it fly.
Just gotta throw down a crystal and just get zerked up, and we're off to the races.
Alright, transformation into Ultimecia again. And I believe we are good to go now.
Rosa is now circed up Kane. And then eventually Fusoya is gonna more likely not circ up Rosa. Or gonna throw it on a slow. That's fine.
Seems a little bit superfluous, but we're gonna be very, very quick here with all these Zerkers that we have going on right now.
Yeah, we're not gonna be hurting too much now. Everyone is all zerked up. It is now a matter. The controller is now down.
Yeah, we're doing so much damage, we may not even see the media phase, to be perfectly honest.
And there it goes.
Didn't even get a second shot. Yeah, didn't even get a second shake.
So GG's out to Garen. Managed to stick it out to the very end. And has finally taken out Zeramus.
We'll see if Garen is wanting to come in for a quick chat here.
And while we wait for that, I do want to let you all know that the last Pink Puff League match or event is going to happen this Thursday, so you do not want to wait for that. Do not want to miss out that. Here's Garen in the booth. GG's League match or event is going to happen.
Thank you, I
this
guess. So,
Thursday,
I'm guessing Ordeal's had something
wait
this
for
time,
that.
huh?
Do not want to miss out that.
Nope, actually not really.
No? Okay.
So the other trap chest that you didn't open in Self had the tower key, which eventually led you to the magma key.
I missed 3 of them in Sylph at the very end.
Yeah, so Self was absolutely loaded because it not only did it have that adamant rock, but it also had the pass, and it also had the tower key that led it to the magma key eventually.
Very unlike Sylph most of the time.
Yeah, well, it was one of those rando's gonna rando every now and then. I think everyone commented that it was a pretty loaded Sylph. Most everyone had an RA1 setup though, so a lot of them tackled it pretty early to get some levels. And unfortunately, just the way everything ended up being routed, you opted to forego it, and that this was not the seat to do that in. So
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
that does. That's rando though, and I think with this flag set in particular, trap chests don't feel terribly rewarding, but when they do hit, they hit. So
Yeah, well, it was a very power overwhelming seed, though. So, I mean, there was that.
true. How many crystal swords did you have there by the end?
2 or 3? I think 3.
Yeah, certainly made for a pretty quick Z fight. We were like, okay, are we even going to see a second Big Bang? And we're like, we didn't even see a second shake at that point in time. You were dishing out, I think, about 20,000 damage around there.
Yeah, when you clear the entire LST, you're going to get that, I think. You didn't have to go to the moon this time, since there were 2 objectives there, just that, you had that Sylph cave and didn't get it done. Debating it, but passed on it.
Oh, completely understandable. But Any other thoughts about this flag set as a whole, as all of us are prepping for our fall tournament and get ready to do this, for the next, few months of our lives?
It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, there's a lot more variability depending on what you hit and where things are. So
Yeah, it certainly makes the loot goblin in my heart very warm inside. But other than that, it does change the game quite a bit, doesn't it?
yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it is definitely